In 2005, I was closing in on a deal to run a new internet business when I got a call from my good friend, Jason Port. He had heard I was in the market for a new business opportunity and encouraged me to take a look at private aviation. After 9/11, he told me, private aviation's growth had skyrocketed. Passengers on commercial flights had grown frustrated with increased travel times, long lines at security, having to remove their shoes, and the rest of it. Private jet charter had suddenly emerged as a terrific option for business travelers. He also told me that, despite its growth, private aviation remained highly inefficient, so there might be a good opportunity for skilled internet entrepreneurs to help the industry operate more efficiently. I looked at the charter business. The numbers showed growth in users and revenue like I hadn't seen since the dot-com boom. But the business was highly fragmented. In commercial aviation, there were a handful of operators, like American, Continental, United, Delta, and Southwest, that controlled virtually all the passenger seats and owned hundreds of aircraft. Private aviation was completely different. There were approximately 2,500 operators in the United States alone, typically controlling only 3 planes each. When it came to selling seats for commercial flights, companies like Expedia, Travelocity, and Orbitz could easily connect travelers to commercial flight schedules, making it simple to search, find, and purchase a trip online. In contrast, just as my friend had told me, the private aviation industry was incredibly inefficient. Nobody had effectively aggregated the supply and demand in one place to make it easy to purchase a trip on a private jet. To book one, you'd have to find a local operator through word of mouth, by looking them up in the phone book or by calling the local airport. Once you got a charter operator on the phone, he would then have to create a custom quote for your trip, oftentimes initiating a back and forth of faxes. The process was made tougher still because the guy answering the phone was sometimes the guy flying the plane. As a result of my research, I decided to enter the market and tackle this problem. I started Smart Charter in 2006 as an online marketplace and booking tool for private aviation. Think of it as Expedia for private jets. My goal was to match up supply and demand, making the process of buying and selling trips on a private jet simple. I opened an office in Los Angeles and hired a great team from companies like Google, Expedia, Yahoo, Travelocity, and the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. To build the business, in September 2006, we went out to raise money, and in that process, I was introduced to Richard Branson's Virgin Group. Richard was my longtime hero as an entrepreneur, and his company, Virgin, was among the most respected aviation brands in the world. In April 2007, Virgin bought a controlling interest in my company. We were rebranded as Virgin Charter. My new job was to run the business. All this reinforced my belief that I had a sure thing. We were in a growing market solving a big problem. Our timing, our team, and our execution had been great. Now, with Virgin as an investor, how could I lose? So I doubled down, went all in. I was in the right place at the right time. Or so I thought. We launched as Virgin Charter in March 2008. The first quarter of 2008 was incredible for private aviation. There were more private aircraft sales, more fractional sales, and more charter hours flown than at just about any time in history. The day we launched, Richard and I went on CNBC to make the announcement. But 2 other news stories caught my attention that day. Concerns about an economic recession and a spike in oil prices. That's when I feared things might begin to change, and not for the better. The business started to go sideways quickly. In the first half of 2008, oil prices went soaring. Typically,